What is up, everybody? Welcome to week 0 of the high school football season. My name is Pep Fernandez. Over the course of the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to look at some highlights and scores from week 0 tonight, as a majority of our local teams got the high school football season started. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and get right to it. Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Friday night and it's football season, so you're always hanging out with us, and we do appreciate it. Before we get to some scores and some highlights coming your way, just a quick programming note that we are still trying to get back in the Sports Weekly Live, the IEMG TV3 studio. That is the plan. The wheels are turning slowly, but we're making progress. We're trying to get back in the studio safely, and we're hoping that come next Friday, which would be week 1 of the high school football season, we can get back in the studio and give you that full-on 1-hour show with, we usually get at least a dozen games with highlights, and we got all the scores. We try to incorporate some interviews as well. So we're trying. Could do it tonight, but we're hoping and keeping our fingers crossed that we can do it come next Friday in week 1. So if that does happen, we will be back on IEMG TV3 and back in their studio in San Bernardino to bring you all the scores and highlights from our area. But until then, again, this is just a very informal high school football breakdown here for week 0 with some of the scores and highlights that we have. Now, the big game, in fact, it was our Kins Sporting Goods must-see game. It was Norco taking on Vista Murrieta. What a huge game. Your Big 8 League champion, your Southwestern League champion from the spring season. And we were very excited about this one. 2 of the top programs year in and year out in the inland sports coverage area. And we got some video highlights down there from one of our newest members of the team, which we're very excited for you to meet. McKenna Guerrero will make her debut on the Inland Sports Show this upcoming Wednesday as we break down more of this Norco versus Vista Murrieta matchup. Huge win for the Cougars going on the road down there to Vista Murrieta. So McKenna will have more this coming Wednesday. But here's a couple of video clips from tonight, and it was a packed house down there at Vista Murrieta High School welcoming the Norco Cougars. And if you follow Big 8 League play, if you follow the Southwestern League, they always play in front of a packed house. Such a great environment for high school football, and Vista Murrieta certainly did not disappoint. They also did not disappoint on the football field, as well as Norco would go on the road and again beat a very good Broncos team who is always tough at home. But Norco found a way behind their great quarterback, Kyle Crum, number 9, had himself a ball game, 3 touchdown passes. He also had 100 yards rushing on the ground. There is Jacob Rosendahl going in for a Norco touchdown on the ground. Again, Norco wins 42-26. So Norco carrying that flag for the Big 8 League, going on the road, big win against the Southwestern League champion from this past spring. And again, more coming up on this game in Norco and Vista Murrieta this coming Wednesday night on the Inland Sports Show, live and amplified at 6:05 p.m. Okay, another game that we were really excited about was Yucaipa taking on Palm Springs tonight. And Yucaipa looked really good during that abbreviated spring season. Could that carry over for the T-Birds against a Palm Springs squad that is always tough year in and year out? So let's take out to Yucktown. We were all tied at 14 apiece at the break. Here we go to the second half, and Yucaipa, third quarter, gets it going. Everett Head, big run for the first down here into Palm Springs territory, inside the 20 for the T-Birds. Same drive. Yucaipa QB Kai Smith rolls to his left and connects with a wide open Tim Monahan for the score. Thunderbirds up 20-14. Just moments later, the Indians go back on offense when Javen Kapler airs it out to Dylan Armendariz for the long touchdown strike. Gets behind that defense there. And the extra point makes it 21-20 Palm Springs. The Indians on top, leading by 1. But that lead would be short-lived for the Indians because Emmanuel Jojo Barajas rips off a 65-yard touchdown run for Yucaipa, just out there living his best life. T-Birds up 27-21. Fourth quarter, and Yucaipa does it again. Zach Alonso lunges in for 6. Yucaipa up 34-21. And that lead would stand up. Palm Springs would answer. They get one more back. It's going to be Kapler to Braden Hapner on this touchdown. But that would be it. Yucaipa wins 34-28, the final there. So a big win for Yucaipa on their home turf out there in Yucktown. And again, we've got some new members of our team we're excited about. We told you about McKenna Guerrero. She will make her debut on the Inland Sports Show this upcoming Wednesday night. Covering the Yucaipa and Redlands area, we got Jacob Pedroza, and our guy Jacob, who actually played football at Yucaipa High School, caught up with Coach Price after the game.
I'm here with Coach Price. How did you feel about the game today?
You know what, I thought it was a hard-fought game, and what really mattered the most, I thought our team found a way to win. That was the most important thing tonight. First game of the year with an inexperienced group. I just think we found a way to make it happen. We leaned on, Jojo Barajas. It didn't matter. The offensive line played great, and we had a win tonight.
So how did you deal with the last-minute quarterback situation?
You know, I think with what we do offensively and the system that we run, that everybody's getting reps all the time, and Kai played in the system as a freshman.
Right.
He moved right into it, as a backup quarterback behind who originally was our starter. And honestly, I was very impressed with the way he handled himself tonight. He made some big plays when it mattered. He had a nice scramble down there that led to a touchdown. He handled the clock situation at the end like a pro,
right.
And that's what matters most. Kid made it happen. Got to win.
All right, thanks, Coach. Have a good rest of your season.
Thanks.
All right, great job out there, Jacob, and big win for Yucaipa again against Palm Springs. A couple other highlights as well. Let's take you back to Thursday night, and we've got the Summit Skyhawks in action, taking on Santa Fe from Santa Fe Springs. That's head coach Nick Matheny and the guys, and they looked really strong in this game against Santa Fe from the very start in this one. Big run there by the Skyhawks, number 11, Aiden Hall. And then how about this guy rumbling up the middle? That's number 33 for Summit, Jeremiah Beck. And look at this huge run. There's another Michaele out there. We got one at JW North right now. How about this one at Summit High School? Satani Michaele. Big touchdown run by the big fella, built like a defensive end, but he can run the rock for sure. Later, more from Summit. That's number 22 getting into the end zone. That's Isaiah Hall. He's only a sophomore, and there's Michaele on defense. And how about that pick? The tip and into the hands of number 14, Lavelle Williams. And Williams had a great game on both sides of the football for the Summit Skyhawks in this one. So Williams, the interception, and then going to the air. Williams, the grab, spins out of that tackle, lunges forward, and gets into the end zone there for a Summit touchdown. And he's going to make his way to the camera for sure on this one. And I would too after a big play like that. Summit grabbed an early lead against Santa Fe, and they would not look back in this one. Final score, 34-0. So the Skyhawks getting it done on offense and defense, a little bit of everything as they open up their season on a Thursday night, beating Santa Fe 34-0. All right, now let's go to, when you look at the spring season, the Mountain Valley League champion from the spring, Indian Springs, trying to carry that over into the fall. And the Coyotes welcoming Desert Hot Springs to San Bernardino, trying to get a big win to kick off their season because, again, once you win a league title, once you have some success, that expectation, that standard is raised quite a bit. So we'll see what Indian Springs could do against Desert Hot Springs tonight from the Dino. Let's head out there. It was all springs in this one. Desert Hot Springs and Indian Springs. Opening kickoff of the season of the game. Desert Hot Springs, the onside kick, they recover, but the ensuing offensive drive for the Golden Eagles would stall out. And DHS had so many issues snapping the football all night long. This snap sails high, puts DHS on their own 1-yard line. And then later, DHS with the football. Somehow, quarterback Sebastian Cardozo, long pass to Robert Reynolds on third and very long. They get the first down there, but not a lot of success on offense for Desert Hot Springs. And this one, again, another bad snap that would plague all of their offensive drives tonight. Second quarter, still no score until Indian Springs finally punches one in. Sam Gambra on the touchdown, 8-zip after the 2-point conversion. Later in the second frame, Desert Hot Springs with the ball. They cough it up. The Coyotes, well, they recover somewhere in there. Next drive for Indian Springs is going to be Darren Harris. Where's number 1? He'll go in for the touchdown for Indian Springs. They go on to win 34-8. So carrying that momentum from a spring league championship, Indian Springs gets it done. So they're off to a very strong start this season. All right, now let's go to, San Bernardino on the road at Desert Mirage. Let's take you out to the desert. We're making a road trip on this one to check out Cardinal City. The Cardinals, Gustavo Sandoval's team for Desert Mirage would have their hands full in this one. Opening drive, San Bernardino pass, intercepted by Omar Mendoza. The Rams were in business on the ensuing drive. They ate up over 8 minutes on the clock thanks to key third down runs like this one, Levi Barrios. But he would fumble in the red zone, so they came away with no points, and the Cardinals would take advantage. Here's another big run by Desert Mirage here out there in the thermal area, way out there in the desert. San Bernardino, they would get things back on track, giving a little love to the Rams here, but it would be all San Bernardino tonight in this game. Here's Cardinals on offense and just airing it out, and a big touchdown there. That was Emmanuel Montgomery to Champo Kanyamasa on the bomb. Let's see. I want to make sure that's right. And then later it's going to be, hey, we know this guy, Luis Gain Romero for San Bernardino. And there's another touchdown for the Cardinals. Let's see. San Bernardino won this game 55-0. So head coach Sean Collins and the guys going on the road and getting a significant win. If you remember from this past spring, they beat their rival Pacific in the final game of the spring, and it looked like the Cardinals were turning a corner. They had some great young players, and it looks like, kind of like Indian Springs, looked like San Bernardino carrying a full head of steam into this fall season. So 55-0 for the Cardinals. Now, again, this is not a normal Sports Weekly Live. Usually we go an hour long on IEMG TV with highlights from like 12, 13, 14 different games, all the scores, interviews, the whole thing. Tonight, a little bit more or less informal here on Inland Sports Twitter and YouTube. Let me make sure I got all the highlights. We got Norco, we got Yucaipa, we got Summit. Let's see, I think we got all of them. So let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break here, and then when we come back, I'm going to run down all of the scores that we have right now in Week 0. And you can find a list of those scores on the Inland Sports website. That's inlandsports.wordpress.com, or you can type in sportswithpep.com. Either way, you'll get to the same exact website, and we've got a list of all the scores from tonight as they're still coming in. We got most of them. I'd say about 3/4 of the scores so far. So quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll run down those scores here on a very special Inland Sports Show Friday night edition with your Week 0 action.
Calling all athletes. Make sure you're at your very best by training at Boost Performance Training in Corona. Whether you're a football player, soccer player, baseball player, lacrosse, athletes from all sports and all levels train at Boost Performance Training. Led by former Centennial High School football star Ray Bass, you'll develop explosive power, become faster, and add that lean muscle. Don't be left behind and get a leg up on the competition at Boost Performance Training. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for information on their training programs and also on the Bass School. That's the Bass Alternative School for student athletes. Trying to earn a scholarship? Maybe make the varsity team? Get a spot in the starting lineup? Well, let Boost Performance Training help achieve your athletic goals. The #1 sporting goods store in the Inland Empire is Ken's Sporting Goods in Norco. Whether you need new uniforms for the entire team, a Letterman's jacket, or new cleats for the upcoming season, check out Ken's Sporting Goods. Plus, now you can order masks with your favorite team, school, business, and more. Order for your entire team or organization. Visit kensportinggoods.com for more information and for the latest on the big sales. Make sure to follow Ken's Sporting Goods on Instagram and Twitter. So if you need team uniforms or sports gear, there's only one place to go in the Inland Empire. That's Ken's Sporting Goods.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to wrap things up here. We showed you some highlights. We're going to run down a bunch of the scores, and if I did this correctly, I'm going to bring up the Inland Sports website here on this live stream so you guys can see it as well. But again, a quick programming note. The plan is to be back in the IEMG TV3 studio next Friday night for week 1 so we can bring you the full-on big blowout show with all the scores and highlights and interviews. You guys know the drill. We do it every single Friday night during the high school football season. We get in that studio, and again, just a process behind the scenes, paperwork and all that stuff, an approval process so we can safely get back in there and do it. And but we're hoping next week. We couldn't get it together in time for tonight, but hopefully next week. So again, I know many of you have been asking, and many of you appointment viewing, and we appreciate it. Every single Friday night, 11 o'clock, you head on over to IEMG TV3 or the IE Media Group YouTube channel and watch your favorite high school football show, the only high school football show in the Inland Empire. So, again, we're hoping to have it back in the studio come next week. All right, let's see if I did this correctly. Let's take a live look at the Inland Sports website, and we can take a look at some of these scores right now. And there we go. And there's a live look at the website. And I'm just going to go down the list. And again, this list is in no particular order with these scores and the schools. We mentioned Yucaipa's big win against Palm Springs, 34-28. How about Beaumont and Orange Vista? This is one of the better matchups we had in week 0. Coach Zomal against Coach Steinberg, two programs who had some success the last couple of years. And Beaumont wins 34-30. That was a game you could listen to on KMET, KMET, 1490 AM. Beaumont will be on the radio all season long, home and away. San Gorgonio had a rough spring, but the Spartans bouncing back. A big win against Bloomington, 39-8. JW North over Grand Terrace, 35-8. You can see some of these scores not filled in yet. We're still tracking some of those down. A little bit further down, we got Patriot over Rialto, 42-8. Here we saw Indian Springs beating Desert Hot Springs 34-8. We had some of those highlights from earlier. The Mountain Valley League champions with a big win. San Bernardino 55-0 against Desert Mirage. A little bit farther down, one of the premier games, as I scroll down to Aquinas and Etiwanda. This was one of the premier games in San Bernardino County. Etiwanda wins this one 20-6 against Aquinas. Norte Vista going up into the high desert, 39-14 against Hesperia. And how about John Rice and Riverside Poly beating Hillcrest, your River Valley League champion from a year ago, 23-17. I saw Coach Carter from Hillcrest over the summer at a passing league tournament. He said he likes this group. They have talent, but they're young. So looks like Hillcrest is going to go through some growing pains this upcoming season with a young but talented group. But congrats to the Riverside Poly Bears. That's a signature win for Coach Rice in that program, 23-17. Hemet blanked by Rancho Mirage 12-zip. Congratulations for La Sierra head coach Sebastian Hernandez, 27-zip against Newview Bridge. The Eagles starting off the season with a win. Norco in that showdown, the Kins must-see game, beating Vista Murrieta, 42-26 the final there. Scroll down a little bit more. We know Heritage beat Santiago by a touchdown. I don't know what the final score was yet. We'll track that one down. We'll put it on the website as soon as we get it. But we do know Heritage won, and they won by a touchdown. Chaparral losing to a very good Mission Hills team from the San Diego area, 24-13. Temecula Valley hammers Valley View 57-0. Remember the Eagles with head coach Pete Smolin kind of getting a late start. Smolin jumped on that job in July, and not a lot of time to build up into the season. So the Eagles will get better, I think, as the season goes on. But Temecula Valley, a well-oiled machine with head coach Bert Esposito, 57-0 the final there. We've also got Elsinore. Orange Vista against Beaumont was one of those games I was very intrigued by. Elsinore versus Vista Del Lago was another one of those games I was very interested in. I thought could be a real battle for Middle Earth. But Elsinore, the Tigers, look at that, 46-7. Great win there by Elsinore. Temescal Canyon, that's a nice win at home, 41-33 against La Jolla Country Day. Paloma Valley coming up short against Vista, 44-8. And tomorrow night, we've got Redlands East Valley playing on the road at San Jacinto. The plan is right now we're going to bring you coverage from that game tomorrow night on our Inland Sports social media platform. So be sure to check that one out. There we go. Let's see. Let's see if I get this right. Okay, there I'm back. I was trying to get the website back down. So those are the scores that we have so far. And again, each and every week, we will have a list of all the games in the Inland Sports coverage area. And we will keep track of all the scores each and every week. And as we get them more tonight, again, things got a little chaotic getting all the video in. But we will update this list with the additional final scores as we get them. Appreciate you tuning in. We're going to wrap things up. Again, this was very informal. This was very quick. But hopefully next week we'll get back to our normal 1 hour blowout with scores and highlights from the television studio at IEMG in San Bernardino. That is the plan. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get there. If not, you might be stuck with me in my living room again, doing something very similar to this. But the big victory, though, we're playing high school football. I know there was a number of games canceled, but here we are. We're giving the kids a chance to get out there and compete. And a lot of great games tonight in week 0. And again, Redlands East Valley taking on San Jacinto tomorrow night. Check back with Inland Sports Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You guys know the drill. Make sure you give us a follow, give us a like, subscribe, and we'll have more coverage from that game and additional games as we head into next week, week 1 of the high school football season. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time with more coverage from Inland Sports.